Long before modern empires carved their names into history, there was a kingdom unlike any the world had ever seen, ruled not only by men, but by unseen beings made of smokeless fire. This was the empire of Prophet Sulaiman alayhi salam, a ruler whose dominion stretched from the winds above to the oceans below. His court echoed not merely with human voices, but with whispers of jinn, spirits, and creatures beyond human comprehension. It began with a prayer, one that still sends shivers down the spine of those who recite it. Sulaiman alayhi salam asked Allah for a kingdom that no one after him would ever possess. His request was not driven by pride, but by devotion. He sought authority that would stand as proof of divine power, not personal glory. And Allah answered. The winds became his chariots. Birds carried his messages. Mountains bowed to his command, reciting praises alongside him. But the most astonishing part of his realm was the empire of Jinn, an unseen army that worked under his command day and night. Some built palaces from marble and gold, others dove deep into the sea to retrieve pearls and treasures for the king. The Qur'an itself records, and of the jinn were those who worked before him by the permission of his Lord. And whoever deviated among them from our command, we made him taste the punishment of the blazing fire. Yet behind this divine order was a story of fear, power, and mystery, one that still puzzles historians and believers alike. The jinn were ancient, predating mankind. Their civilizations rose and fell in realms parallel to ours, invisible to human eyes. When Sulaiman alayhi salam rose to prophethood, his wisdom bridged the gap between worlds. He didn't enslave the jinn through sorcery, as some later myths claim, but through divine authority granted by Allah. A special ring, inscribed with the name of God, symbolized this covenant. Every dawn, Sulaiman alayhi salam would sit on his grand throne in Jerusalem. Before him gathered legions, humans to his right, birds and animals in perfect rows before him, and jinn, massive, shadow-like figures, behind them. Reports from ancient narrations describe how the ground trembled as the jinn stood awaiting his command. Some shaped colossal stones into walls so seamless that even modern tools could not replicate them. Others built temples that glimmered like stars when struck by sunlight. Many researchers today try to trace remnants of that empire. Some point to the ruins near the Dead Sea 20, claiming that the gigantic foundations might have been the handiwork of those supernatural builders. Others link it to the legendary city of Sheba, whose queen once visited Sulaiman alayhi salam and witnessed his impossible marvels. But while history searches for stones, faith focuses on what lies unseen. The jinn obeyed Sulaiman alayhi salam not because they feared him, but because they feared the command of the one who sent him. Still, among them were rebels, creatures who despised submission. Quranic exegesis mentions that Sulaiman alayhi salam kept such jinn imprisoned in copper bottles sealed with lead, buried beneath mountains or beneath the sea. To this day, sailors in some parts of Arabia whisper of strange jars found on remote shores, copper vessels inscribed with unreadable symbols, their lids fused shut by time. Could these be remnants of the Prophet's command? Scholars are cautious, believers are curious. But the legend persists. The lost empire never truly vanished. It merely shifted beyond the veil of sight. Centuries later, myths distorted the truth. Some claimed that magicians had stolen Sulaiman's ring and used it to control spirits. Others wrote of hidden scrolls buried under his throne, filled with forbidden spells. The Qur'an corrected this falsehood. They followed what the devils used to recite during the reign of Sulaiman. It was not Sulaiman who disbelieved, but the devils disbelieved, teaching people magic. This verse draws a sharp line. Sulaiman alayhi salam ruled through faith, not sorcery. His power was submission, not manipulation. Yet that distinction faded as later generations romanticized the supernatural. What they forgot was a lesson behind the legend, that knowledge without obedience leads to ruin. Imagine the empire at its peak, towers shimmering under sunlight, armies of jinn moving like waves, and Sulaiman alayhi salam orchestrating harmony between species. The sound of the wind carried commands across deserts faster than any messenger. Carpets woven by Jinn floated through the sky, carrying the Prophet and his army across lands in hours that would take others months. Birds scouted ahead, reporting news from distant regions. It was a civilization powered by divine will, but every empire faces its dusk. When Sulaiman alayhi salam passed away, he did so standing, leaning upon his staff in prayer. The Qur'an narrates that no one, not even the jinn working beneath him, realized his death until a creature of the earth gnawed through his staff, causing his body to fall. Only then did the jinn understand that they were not all-knowing. The verse concludes, when he fell down, it became clear to the jinn that if they had known the unseen, they would not have remained in humiliating torment. That moment shattered the illusion of omniscience. The jinn, who thought themselves superior in knowledge and longevity, were reminded of their limits. It was Allah's way of showing that even the mightiest creation depends entirely on his command. Since that day, the empire has dissolved. The jinn scattered, their loyalty unanchored, their unity lost. Some turned righteous, continuing to worship Allah in solitude. Others drifted into arrogance, whispering temptations into the hearts of men, thus beginning the unseen conflict that still shadows humanity. What remains is memory, a whisper in the desert wind, a ruin under shifting sands, a story told at midnight when silence deepens. And perhaps, somewhere beneath the earth, a copper vessel still sleeps, sealed with the echo of a king who once commanded both worlds. The story of Sulaiman alayhi salam and his Jinn empire isn't just a relic of the past, it's a mirror held up to every age that believes power is control. Sulaiman alayhi salam proves something far greater, that true command doesn't come from force or fear, but from obedience to the creator of all worlds, seen and unseen. Think about it. In an era where humans struggle to master technology, he mastered the wind. Where engineers need machines to lift stones, his words summon legions of invisible builders. Yet he never once claimed ownership over his gifts. Every miracle began and ended with the phrase, "This is from the favor of my Lord." And that's what makes this story timeless. The jinn, despite their strength, were helpless without divine permission. The Prophet, despite his absolute power, remained humble. Two extremes balanced by faith. That was the secret of his rule. Many travelers and historians claim to feel traces of that kingdom even today. In the barren hills near Jerusalem, some report sudden gusts of wind that swirl like an unseen army marching. In the caves along the Dead Sea, strange inscriptions mark the walls, ancient, undeciphered, half erased by sand. Maybe they're nothing. Or maybe they're reminders left by hands that once shaped mountains. But the greater empire still exists, not beneath the earth, but within the believer's heart. Because the lesson of Sulaiman alayhi salam isn't about supernatural might. It's about discipline over the unseen within ourselves, the whispers, the ego, the arrogance that try to rule us. To conquer a jinn is easy with God's will. To conquer one's own soul, that's the real dominion. Every legend leaves behind a question. If the jinn could build palaces in days, what stopped them from rebuilding that lost empire after Sulaiman's death? The answer lies in that single verse. If they had known the unseen, they didn't. They couldn't. Only Allah holds the keys to what's hidden. Every myth that tries to glorify magic, every story that worships power, collapses before that truth. So next time you hear wind howling through the night, remember it once carried the commands of a prophet. When you see ruins swallowed by desert, imagine the unseen hands that built them. And when you feel tempted to chase what lies beyond your reach, recall that the greatest kingdom ever known ended not with war or rebellion, but with a man standing silently before his Lord, so humble, even death waited for permission to touch him. If this story moved you, imagine how many more mysteries of faith still hide beneath the sands of time. Stories of prophets, empires, and miracles that still echo in the unseen. Stay curious, stay humble, and remember, every legend in Islam is more than history. It's a message carved between light and shadow, because the empire of Sulaiman alayhi salam may have vanished, but its lesson will rule forever.